Tazeen is about to be married. The groom is at the local mosque and Tazeen and her family are listening to the ceremony called the nikah from home. In Islam, the bride isn't always present at her own wedding ceremony. Her father gives consent on her behalf. A religious leader known as an imam says a prayer. The women wait for the groom to accept the marriage. The groom agrees. This is the happiest day of her life. This ceremony has all the trappings of a marriage, and for the Muslim community, the marriage is now halal or accepted. After the religious wedding, a celebration is held for friends and family. These moments may be beautiful, but they are fleeting. As long as the couple stay together, this is a happily ever after story. But Tazeen is still unwed until she has her marriage registered officially under UK law. Having an unregistered wedding is like having no wedding at all. In the event of a divorce or separation in an unregistered marriage, a woman can lose out on alimony and even child custody. Gina got married when she was in her early 20s, but she never got the happy ending she hoped for.
At the time when we decided to get married, he went to my brother and asked my hand in marriage. It was just a simple nikah ceremony, and it was somebody who came from a local mosque. We didn't go into a mosque, and he asked no questions. And I think being young and foolish at the time and not understanding it, I didn't know how to protect myself. The problems I had, were when we split 10 years later, and that was in getting a divorce. But I found out then that my marriage wasn't registered. I didn't know who the imam was. I wouldn't have been able to find him again. And basically I had no rights. And there was no law I could go to. There was nowhere I could go to get justice, that I've been his wife for 10 years, we have 2 children, and this is what he's done.
It's British Muslims that want to marry in the UK that this really affects. In Islamic countries, imams are the registering authority. But here, it's where you get married and not who marries you that counts. This causes all kinds of confusion. At a church or synagogue, your marriage is automatically recognised in law. But according to the Marriage Act of 1949, mosques, like this one behind me, have to apply to the local authority to be registered. Mufti Barkatullah is a leading cleric who has been campaigning to get mosques registered to perform civil marriages, but found that the resistance comes from the mosques themselves.
What happened, the Muslim Institute sponsored a survey that how many mosques were registered and how many were not. So my own daughter, she did this survey, and she was met with the stone wall. First, they did not cooperate. Second, they did not want to know about it. And third, if they knew by our seminar and other things, they did not want to go through the pain of registering themselves as a civil registrar. So it's like I think in a bundle of services, the mosques are failing their responsibility. From our information and survey and personal information, the proportion of mosques which are not registered is like 95%. Only 5% mosques are registered.
Without a legal marriage, Gina tried to find a solution in Islamic law. She wanted her divorce to be recognised by the community.
He would not divorce me. He just wouldn't. He had that power not to divorce me. And we'd gone on holiday to Gran Canaria, and we'd had these photographs taken of us. We wanted dead and alive posters with big straw hats on. So I just made a sort of A4 copy of his photo of that, wanted dead or alive, and underneath I put wife seeking divorce. Will not pay child support, will not divorce me. I just went and pinned it on every billboard I knew he'd stop at, every relative, every friend he had, because I was so ashamed of being his wife, or people referring to me as his wife. I decided everybody needed to know his family, and this was about honour for him now. So in effect, I destroyed his honour by putting up the posters and revealing the truth, which they don't like, because as an Asian woman, you should be quiet.
Aina Khan specialises in Islamic law. She estimates that over 3/4 of young Muslim couples have marriages that aren't registered. She has been trying to help women like Gina get fairer divorce settlements. She says that she's seen a massive rise of unregistered marriages in the last 5 years. In some sections of the population, like the Somali Muslim community, she estimates that the proportion of young unmarried couples could be as high as 90%.
I 100% believe that the wealthier party and its 99% men are exploiting this loophole in the law which allows them to be able to have their cake and eat it. You have to make the effort to find if the venue you're getting married in, like a hotel, banqueting suite, big restaurant, is it legally registered? If that's not the case, then you have to go to a civil registry office to have a ceremony.
2 weeks after the Muslim nikah, Tazeen and her husband are at Upton Park Civil Registry Office to make their union legal.
Now, before we do start, I have to inform you that this room in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to law, and that's for the celebration of
Tazeen is a
marriages.
practicing Muslim like Gina was when she got married.
I have a grown daughter now, and she's a Muslim, and you can bet your life I'll be there. You know, I'll be there going over this nikah nama, making sure it's registered, not just at her mosque, but registered and lawfully recognised.
After all the pomp and ceremony, the flick of Tazeen's pen is all that counts. It's now official. She is Mrs. Adam, and the couple can begin their new life together.